Hey there, welcome back to another review, and this time it is The Star Chamber, this was sent to me by Till from Germany. Although I did already have the film, but still, it was a nice gift, and gave me an opportunity to talk about this movie, The Star Chamber. Peter Hyams directed this, and he's a guy that I enjoy a lot as a director. Running Scared with Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines, 2010, the sequel to 2001. I enjoy Stay Tuned, End of Days, The Relic, Narrow Margin, Time Cop, Sudden Death. There's a lot of Peter Hyams films I enjoy. And I thought this was another good, I guess best way to call it is a bit of a thriller, drama thriller. I mean, Michael Douglas, that picture, he has a gun, but I don't think he ever uses a gun in the movie. So that's a bit false advertising. It's not Black Rain. It's not that kind of movie where he's using a gun. Michael Douglas plays a judge, and through a good chunk of the film is talking about how the system can be worked around by certain things where you have to obey the law, and if you don't, some villains can get out because of minor details. Like, for example, there's these two cops that chase after this guy. There's something in the garbage can, but they can't search the garbage can. So that's against the law. But they can search the garbage truck, and they find this gun, and it deals with these, I guess, these old women and old people that have been killed for their social security and so forth. So they find it, and then when you get to trial, the lawyer of the bad guy goes, well, you found the gun in the scoop of the truck, not part of the common garbage. And because it's not part of the common garbage, and it's not admissible, so sorry, that evidence doesn't work. And the cops are like, are you kidding me? Because of the scoop? I mean, because the guy didn't pull the lever, so it wasn't part of the garbage? And I like that Michael Douglas, he's not a fan of this either. He doesn't like that he has to let these guys go, but it's part of the law. He has to follow the rules, and the evidence is inadmissible. And you see a couple of times of this happening, where these two guys rob or they're thinking of robbing. These cops stop their van. They say, "Oh, I smell weed." They find this kid's shoe, this kid that had been killed, but because of clerical error, they're let go. So a good chunk of this film is talking about how the law, it is the law for a reason, but at the same time, how because of certain details, people can worm their way out of the law. And Michael Douglas' struggle of he's a judge, he's got to follow the rules, but at the same time, he doesn't like what happens. And I like the struggle of Michael Douglas. I think he gives a good performance on that. And it makes me infuriating just as much as him watching it. Yaphet Kotto's in the film as a cop. Hal Holbrook is in the film as a friend of Michael Douglas. Actually, the two guys who they find driving the van, one is a guy from Murphy Brown, and the other is, he was in Weekend at Bernie's and Return of the Living Dead. I think it's Don Calfa. So, I recognize those two people. And this came out in 1983, so quite a while ago. But I liked what it was doing with the story, what it was saying about it, and ultimately, I like when Michael Douglas says, the bad guys get a hold of these books, and they find something, and I give them a prize, because they gotta let them go. And about he's having struggles, when he's at home, it's just not working anymore. Because it turns out right and wrong do count. And at one point when the father of the murdered kid comes up to him, and I like that Michael Douglas goes, you know what, no, I don't have any idea how you must feel. yeah, I'm a father and this and that, but that's true. He wouldn't know how one feel. And the father, the son, tossed to Michael Douglas. And then the dad tries to shoot them, but he accidentally shoots a cop and he gets arrested. One leads to another, and Michael Douglas talks to Hal Holbrook. And the thing is, Hal Holbrook is part of this group called the Star Chamber. And what it is a group of other judges who carry out sentences. They look at this. If they all go guilty, then they have a hitman go and just kill the person. And this carried out a few times, where they do their judging and they kill the guilty people that have slipped through the cracks of the law. And Michael Douglas is a bit unsure until he finds out that dad committed suicide, and he's like, okay, fine, I'll join you guys as a group, say guilty. And then it's found out that, see, it does this sort of thing where it's saying that it's almost as if a good chunk of the film is telling us how the law is fucked up, but then it hits this point in the film where it goes, well, actually, no, it's not quite fucked up because those two people didn't really kill that kid. They really were innocent. I mean, they're guilty of other stuff, but they didn't kill that kid. And Yaphet Kotto and them, they found the people who really killed that kid. So that's why there's a justice system. And it's kind of... it's kind of this weird thing where, like, the movie's making me think one way of, yeah, fuck the law is bullshit, it's not fair, and then going, oh, wait a minute, that's why we have the law. And I think that was the point of the film, but I didn't see how some people would be, I want to say disconcerting, but maybe discombobulated by it, by that swerve. But at the same time, I think at the end of the day, you had to have a reason why, as Steven Seagal once said, no one is above the law. And there's a reason for that. So again, while some people, I think like Roderick Ebert, that's one of the things that bugged him about it. But I understood why they did that route. And I thought it was an interesting story. I thought the acting was well done. Michael Douglas, Hal Holbrook, Yaphet Kotto worked well. I like that Michael Douglas, he's trying to stop the assassin. Hal Holbrook warns him not to do it. Michael Douglas goes to his abandoned warehouse. There's some nice lighting when they're in the warehouse. I can't really describe it other than I think it's a well-lit film. That's the thing with a lot of Peter Hyams films. They have some good... they're well photographed with the look and the lighting of his films. And he's trying to warn these two guys. Granted, they're in the middle of a PCP lab, but Michael Douglas shows that he's a good person. He's trying to warn these guys. They don't believe him. They beat him up. But then Michael Douglas, he like kicks one in the nuts and then chases him into the drug lab, and he picks up this bottle of ether and says, you guys get back. Just warning you. Some guy's going to try to kill you. And he throws it, blows up the lab, falls down, goes down this slide. And it ends with the hitman does kill them, but Yaphet Kotto does save Michael Douglas, and they're able to stop these guys as well. And it's one of those scenes where, even by the end, I'm a bit conflicted, where I kind of understand what these judges are doing and their point of view, but at the same time, and it's not like these two guys were pure innocent souls. They were still running the PCP lab trying to kill Michael Douglas, so it's not like I really feel bad for them dying by the hitman. So there's that part of me that still goes, oh, well, this should still be a thing. Maybe if they were really two innocent guys who were more likable, maybe that would have sold the point home of, no, you can't have these judges going above the law. Because really by then it seems as if, well, these guys still have a good point. I mean, yeah, while they didn't kill that kid, there's still a PCP lab running guys who tried to kill you while all you did was warn them. So the movie, I don't think, does a 100% great job of making these guys the villains, these judges. But I don't know, maybe that was the point, to have a gray area? I don't know. Peter Hyams, I don't think he's ever really talked about this film, talked about this movie. Because I don't think anyone ever is asking him about this. So that's sort of the weird thing about the finale or the ending, where, again, I don't know if the director was trying to go for this gray area of, well, I can't really say these judges were horrible because what they did seemed right to me. But the last shot of Michael Douglas and Yaphet Kotto listening to these guys' conversation to bring them down made it seem as if they were the villains. They must be shot, must be stopped. But at the same time, it's like, well, yeah, they didn't kill the kids, but they tried to kill you, Michael Douglas, and they're still not good guys. But maybe, I don't know, maybe Peter Hyams was just trying to strictly say, hey, you can't be above the law no matter what. But I don't know, maybe that could have been handled a bit better. But I will say, it was, I thought, an interesting story. I thought it was, for the most part, well told. Except maybe that last bit that I've been talking about for like 5 minutes. The acting is very solid. It doesn't feel that long of a movie. It's, well, an hour and 40 some minutes. It's well photographed, especially in the abandoned warehouse in the third act. Some good lighting. And it gives some nice ideas about the law and how there's certain cracks in the law. And I think Michael Douglas gives a good dramatic performance about that. And then you have some nice thrills and action and the finale, which I appreciate. I'm fine with. Some people probably don't like that. I do. I'm fine with a little bit of action in your finale. He doesn't have a gun like this cover set has, but and I like the idea of this group of judges having sentencing people. Yaphet Kotto, I kind of wish he was in the film a bit more. He's in it sporadically. I like him as an actor. I wish he was in the film more than he is. But overall, I think this is just a very solid, dramatic thriller with interesting premise. And I thought, for the most part, it was well told by Peter Hyams. So if you're a Michael Douglas fan, or if you're a Peter Hyams fan, I think it's well worth a look. Or if the idea seems intriguing, or you just watch the trailer and it seems interesting, it's well worth a look. The Star Chamber. Yeah, it's a film not really anyone talks about, but I think it's a fairly good flick. So thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.